the Film Slice crew review King of Thieves. I am Michael Caine.
Michael Caine, can you say she sells seashores by the seashore?
No, I cannot. Hey team, Vegas Record here, and welcome to the Film Slice Podcast. I'm here, as always, with my co-host, Kane Diggly Willy Kane Dog,
Hi.
and the man formerly known as Bradley Dilly-Doo Broadman Richards, and this week he is known as...
Keichel Maine!
Keichel
Maine, everyone.
Alright. And this week we are reviewing King of Thieves, starring our special guest, Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Good to have you here, buddy. First off, when did you see the movie, and what did you think?
Not the IMDb.
Jokes, it's the IMDb summary.
It's the IMDb summary.
Kano, want to hit us up with that IMDb summary?
Absolutely, I can.
Gotcha.
A true crime film about a crew of retired crooks who pull off a major heist in London's jewellery district. What starts off as their last criminal hurrah quickly turns into a brutal nightmare due to greed, based on infamous true events.
Very infamous.
Yep.
True? Maybe.
That was
I guess we'll see.
That was either the IMDb summary for King of Thieves or
Your biography?
or Going in Style, the movie that came out 4 years ago about Michael Caine and a bunch
Going
of
Out in
retired
Style.
crooks who decide to do one last hurrah. It's
This is very true.
the same movie. Anyway,
Alright, let's head on to our next segment, our second segment that we all know is second.
that's definitely
When did you
second
see the
one.
movie?
Yeah, the second
What
one.
did you think?
When did you see the movie? What did you think? Do you like the movie? None of the shit.
Keichel Maine, when did you see the movie? What did you think?
I saw it on Saturday and I thought it was all right.
Kane Dogs, when did you see the movie? What did you think?
I saw it yesterday with the GF, and it was very boring. Real bored.
There you go.
I also don't think it was made for it. I think I actually disliked the way it was executed.
Really?
Last movie we did
Yeah, right.
was Stan and Ollie, and my biggest negative was that was a bad idea, but executed really well.
Yeah.
This is the opposite to that. I think this is a story that, considering it really happened, is awesome, and it was executed in the most boring way possible.
Damn.
Fair enough.
Damn. Kane Dogs gives that his iconic damn.
You can go back. I do it in every podcast.
Yeah, every single one.
Go back and listen for
Yeah.
it.
We'll just cut back right now.
Damn!
Yep, so that was from episode 34. You can go back to listen to that one.
And
to
here's
get
a
that.
tasty one from episode 5.
Yeah.
Damn!
Yeah, he was still...
We're a lot younger back then.
Yeah,
We're a lot younger back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was doing an impression of Anna Kendrick from Pitch Perfect 3, which
yeah.
we'd seen the week or two before.
Yeah, makes sense, really, when you put it in context.
Yep.
I saw the movie this morning.
That gag was excellent.
I saw the movie...
Great content. Sorry.
I saw the movie this morning, and I think that there were a few good things, but mostly it was confusing, much like this sentence.
Yeah. One word, Angus. One word.
Thank you. Thank
In
you.
theme with the podcast.
You're a real poet.
Thank you. Yes, I try to make my words mean something.
real way with words. That way actually being shithouse.
You're a poet and you don't know that you are one.
Now, the listeners can't see who else is in the room. We do have another guest. Brad Pitt, famously for doing a lot of heist films, is in the room. So, Brad Pitt, what did you think of the film? Hold on. He's writing something. Hold on. He's back
We've
to
already done the IMDb summary.
Brad Pitt. If you write smaller, you'll fit more on a page. All right. Yep. Cool. He says, due to an ulcer, he's unable to talk, but he also thought the movie was boring. Go see Oceans. Gandy's up.
Just
I
Oceans.
think that's all he's doing.
Which one? The
So,
original?
Go to the beach, everyone.
Go to the beach.
The original?
Brad Pitt says go to the beach.
Brad Pitt,
We can put that
everybody.
in quotation marks and credit that to Brad Pitt.
We'll definitely take a picture. Wait, no, we just put a blanket over his head. Never mind, there's no picture or evidence he was in
And
it.
he's lighting himself on
He's
fire.
setting himself on fire. Silently, though.
Bit of a
He's taking
shame.
it well.
Bit of a shame we don't have a pool here, but at the Film Slice headquarters. But
The bakery.
he has run into the bakery and set the bread on fire. Okay, this is actually getting quite out of hand.
He did sign the waiver, right?
Yes, we made sure that he signed the
Did
waiver
we make
beforehand.
all the other employees that work here at
We
the bakery
didn't
sign the
sign. We
waiver?
didn't make any of the bakers sign the waiver.
No, we
Yeah.
may get sued quite a lot
So
for
we
this.
could get sued by the bakers. Actually, no, the bakers will sue Brad Pitt.
Like a fire pit. Hey!
That was horrible.
Thank you. Anyway,
Back on track.
back on track.
Good track. Classic comedy, everybody.
Fire pit. No, lads, let's just bring this down for a moment. I know we're up pretty high, but
Jason Momoa here. We're gonna have a
normally-
normally talk around a fire or some shit.
normally I throw to our next segment, which is what did the Slicey Slicers think? You know what? I'd just like to start with an apology. Last week, I put up the picture. Some might say a bit too late for anyone to actually
Potentially a minute and a half before we
to
did the
actually
podcast.
put in. So I'd just like to quickly revisit last
Stan
week's
and
episode
Ollie
of
one.
Stan and Ollie. We
By the
did,
way,
in
I'm doing the
fact-
voice because Angus had to bring it down.
Thank you. Yes, bring it down.
That's the joke.
Cool, moving on. Good care, guys. I like how you wrote that. So we're moving on to the next topic now, yeah?
Stan and Ollie. This is from the one and only long-time listener, Connor Kelly.
Oh,
So-
is that why we're apologising?
That's
'Cause we
why.
actually
That's
care?
why I'm apologising.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. We actually care about
Extremely sorry, Connor. That it was my fault.
I
The
hope this hasn't hurt your self-esteem, mate.
In tribute to you, Connor,
In
we
tribute.
are
We've made a clay
renaming
statue
this
of you.
segment the Connor K segment.
Connor K.
We've also done a clay statue of you. We don't know what you look like. We've had a guess.
It looks a bit like a mound of mud.
Under the assumption you have no limbs or neck
Bit like
or face.
Brad
No.
Pitt, but if he was on fire.
Yeah, and then was kind of just like buried under a pile of dirt.
Yeah.
All right, so this
That's to
is
you.
this is for Stan and Ollie from last week's podcast from the one and only Connor Kelly. He said, "I saw this good while ago. I'd like to issue an apology. I
Is that you
butchered
or him?
his comment. No, that was me.
Okay.
This is from Connor Kelly. Said, I saw this a good while ago, but I really enjoyed it. Thought both actors nailed the performance, and I thought the actress playing Stan's wife stole the show. She's in other things as well. I can't quite remember what though. 8 out of 10. Glad to be back on the review train." That last sentence is definitely the reason why I'm doing this week,
Okay, fair
because
enough.
I felt so bad.
Sorry, Connor.
It's like, can't wait to get back in the review train. I'm like,
We just left it out.
We already recorded it.
Oh. Welcome back. Under the assumption he hasn't listened to that one and then like sworn off listening to us.
Torn down all the posters of us in his
all
room.
the posters of us on his door. Oh, that one picture of you that he's got like inside his closet door.
Yeah, that he kisses every night
Yeah.
before he goes to sleep.
So
Here's
thanks.
one back for you, Connor.
Thanks.
We really appreciate you sticking with us even though we're
We
clearly
love
tools.
you, man. You're the best.
You're our favourite listener.
Okay, so thanks, Connor, for last week. And this week, lads, you know how every week I put up on Instagram what
Yes,
movie we
the
review.
Connor K segment.
The Connor K segment, yeah. And I ask our Slicey Slices what they thought of the
And
film
no one
that we
writes
reviewed.
back in time.
No one writes back in time because, again, I put this up this morning. Well, in fact, we do have one comment.
Ooh.
So, this is from Lisa JJ007.
I think
Love-
we've just outed her as an agent.
Well, you know, serves her right for,
Probably shouldn't use that as
for using that as her handle. Lisa JJ007 says, "Loved it. Fantastic all-star old school cast of legendary British actors. Not sure if the Hatton Garden heist was as visible in the media here though. ... Hands up emoji and a thumbs up emoji.
We don't know where she is, so I'm not sure exactly what... I mean, if she was in London, presumably it was heavily...
Depends. Maybe the movie.
Write in
is
again
shitting
and tell us
up.
where you live.
Fair enough.
Next podcast is at your
Please.
house.
Okay.
So that was from Lisa JJ007. Lads, do we agree? I guess we'll find out in our next segment.
Before we move on to our next segment, I
Okay.
think we've just got a late addition to the messages of this podcast. Angus, if you want to just bring up our thing.
Oh, and we've got a very late addition to this week's Instagram post. This is from Brody R94. Capital F, a capital U, Jordan.
Aww. That's such a
I
long
guess
way
we've
of
got-
delivering that.
I guess we've got FU Jordan. There you go. That's what our Slices thought of that about that movie.
Oh.
They didn't like you.
The movie this week.
I did put it on Facebook. Nobody read it.
Nobody. Okay, cool. Sweet. Moving on.
You can expect a message to appear on there in the next 10 to 15 minutes.
Alright, so maybe we'll dip back into it, I guess.
Lads,
We have time.
would we recommend it? Who would we recommend it to? Cane Dogs.
I wouldn't recommend it. There are many better heist films and many better films based on a true story and many better Michael Caine films.
Fair. Cane Dogs.
I agree with everything that Brody said. However, in our cinema, this isn't a cinema dick. It's more related to the demographic. There was about 11 old ladies, and they all would have been over 65 in a row. And they laughed the whole way through this movie. Every single old person joke, which this movie is written.
There's quite a lot of old people jokes in this.
They
Nailed it on the head.
They cacked themselves. So if the demographic is 70-year-old ladies, I recommend all of them to go see this movie.
The golden oldies in my cinema did not enjoy a lot of the older jokes.
We had a lot of people laughing in our cinema, but when the lights went up, every single person that I knew that laughed
had grey hair.
Was definitely, or had no hair, but also definitely was over like 60.
Was Brody in your film? In your film?
He's in a movie I'm making called A Bit Mean.
Bald Man Can't Jump. Anyway, stay tuned for more of that.
We're doing a press tour any minute now.
I would also recommend this film to anyone over the age of 70, anyone that's grown up with some Michael Caine films,
or any of the other actors
and I guess
that are supposedly
it's
famous,
more like
guess.
it is more of a nostalgia trip. They do this kind of thing in the film where they cut back to old heist films that Michael Caine has been in and that the other actors have been in, which I thought was really cool. But it's definitely like a nostalgia trip.
Executed poorly.
Yeah, the first time it happened, I was like, whoa, what's happening?
It happened a lot, and it was
Is
really
this a remake
jarring.
of an old film?
Yeah.
Because it had similar shots. I was it confused me the first time it happened.
It happened a lot, and it was really
The bit at
jarring.
the end was really good, though.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. Let's get into it. Broadman, can you sound the spoiler alarm for us? No. The other one.
He said the spoiler.
Oh, the spoiler alarm. Yeah, sure. Oh, what a cool sound effect, Angus.
All right, we are in the spoiler section where we dissect and divulge everything about the spoilers. Recipes, you've been warned. Cane Dogs, Cinema Dick.
Dick. Can I request to go last? Not because I have a cinema dick, only because I need to think of a retort to whatever Brody does.
Fair enough.
Presumably against me.
My cinema dick is that one woman left and re-entered the cinema about 5 times, which was kind of weird.
Oh.
I don't think I actually had any cinema dicks in the cinema.
No dicks whatsoever.
No, I think I was probably the biggest dick because I was a bit fidgety this morning. That's about it.
Fair enough.
Right, yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I didn't have any cinema dicks. Just a bunch of old ladies enjoy themselves, but I mean, that was the aim of the film. I just didn't enjoy myself.
Fair enough. Well, maybe you should bloody try and be more like an old lady.
I'm the cinema dick
idiot.
because I wasn't 70 and a woman.
Sweet, let's head into our most positive things about the film. King of Thieves. What was the king positive for you? Cane Dogs?
My favourite part was probably seeing the younger versions of all the actors towards the end.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Definitely. So right at the end, they're kind of all going through jail. They're all kind of walking through the door in jail, and it kind of cuts between them in their present day and then obviously old footage of old heist films that they've been in a similar kind of shot. Which was, I really like that.
I thought that was cool.
Definitely. Although some of them were like, oh yeah, that's exactly, that's obviously them as an actor back in the day.
And then others,
you're
like, clearly couldn't find any good footage.
The right person? That doesn't.
Some
quite
of
look the
them
same.
looked a bit different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Caine looked really different when he had no wrinkles whatsoever.
Yeah, it's weird seeing him young. I feel like he's just always been an old
I found it really weird to think that Clint Eastwood is older than Michael Caine, because I've seen plenty of films where Clint Eastwood is young, but I've only ever seen movies where Michael Caine is old.
Yeah.
But then I remember that Clint Eastwood is nearly 15 years older than Michael Caine, and I'm like, it's weird to think that.
Well, Clint Eastwood was making all of his spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, it's just
in 1960.
Yeah.
So at that point he would have already been
It's just
30
weird
years
because
old or whatever.
I've seen like I still watch stuff where in my brain Clint Eastwood sometimes is still only like 20 something years old.
Yeah.
Because Michael Caine has always been like
Old.
55 years old.
Yeah, the only film I've seen where Michael Caine is young is the original Italian Job.
Yeah.
Which is a good heist film.
Yeah.
Definitely a great heist film. Check that out. But that's young Michael Caine. Yeah. Thanks for backing me up again, guys.
We won't. We didn't now. We won't last time, and we won't next time.
Broadman.
The name's
Cackle
Maine.
Maine. Cackle Maine. Most positive thing about your brother Michael Caine's new movie.
Sure thing.
So my positive is the same. I can't think of a single thing I liked except the end was kind of cool where they got the footage, and even outside of that part of that scene, I hated that scene.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this movie I liked.
I liked some of the cutaways of stuff during the beginning. There was like cutaways of like close-ups of the gold and stuff as he was going through the process of melting it down.
It was very
will
kind of like old-timey heist film edits and stuff like that. Like kind of cutaways that don't quite make sense by itself. Or
They did a good job of recreating, what is it, like early 2000s or mid-90s or whenever this was done. Like it did feel...
Yeah, I think it was like 2009, 8-ish.
Oh yeah, 2009.
They had a lot of references to 2013 in there. So it might have been 2013.
Might have been.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, in that case, that's a negative too, because it felt like it was like the 90s with the way it was made. So
there was a shot. There was a scene in there where one of the guys was talking to a bank executive, and on the table there was a laptop. And it was a laptop, John, I know your parents have that laptop, and I know my mum also had that laptop. It was like one of those old ThinkPads that teachers had. And he had one of them on his desk, but it was really dusty, because obviously they've had to go and find one of them and put it on the desk. But because it was so dusty, I was like, that looks like he's just got a really outdated laptop, rather than he's got a laptop from back in like 2013. Yeah. I thought that was a really weird moment.
All right, before we jump into negatives, I'm just going to hit you up with my positives. I really like some of the jokes. Some of the jokes quite landed for me. Some of the old people jokes. There were some oldies in the cinema, and they laughed more than me, and I laughed at them laughing more than me. It was like this weird kind of cycle happening. But
so what you're saying is, if you removed the movie, you both still would have been laughing at each other.
Yeah,
I mean, you and an old person laughing at each other.
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah, there were a few jokes that I really liked. Some didn't hit, but most of like the old people jokes were good. Like there's one where is it Barry who's the old fence who's Dumbledore?
Yeah.
He rocks up in the truck, and Terrence or whatever his name is, Terry's like, no, we've got to do it out here because there's CCTV everywhere. And Dumbledore's like, you mean like that camera? He's like, oh yeah, all right, quick. And they just keep doing it anyway. Yeah, it's very good. And like how kind of outdated their methods are, but still they kind of made the heist work. Yeah, very good. Well done, Angus. Thank you for sharing. Let's move on to our negatives.
Self pat on the back.
So I've got a whole bunch of negatives, so I'll wait until we all do one.
All right.
So I'm just gonna jump off of yours, whereas that the rest of those jokes felt so lazy. It just felt like they made a movie, and while they were filming, like, oh hey, can you just put an old joke in there? Like what? Well, how about you just pretend like you can't hear them deliver the next line? Like just pretend to be deaf for a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Why?
I like that though. I thought that was funny.
It would have been fine, but it's the most generically written. Like every time there's an old character, that joke is, oh, he misheard, or he fell asleep while he was on the job. Oh, they need to go to the bathroom all the time. It's kind of funny, but it's overused and it's not smart. There's plenty of things that happen when you get older, and I think the humor isn't what happens to them physically. The humor is just that they grew up in a different time. Jokes about them not understanding the concept of cameras and CCTV footage, I find that much funnier than just being like, oh, my eyes aren't what they used to be, and I can't read out what type of jewelry I've stolen until you give me my reading glasses.
It was also weird in this film because this film's based on a true story, right?
Yeah.
So it was weird having these strange comedy moments in a film that was based on a true story because it was like felt a bit disconnected.
So like jokes I did like were Like,
But did you like, just before we move on, with the non-hearing part, like that was kind of the main joke that guy always had, and it got kind of old after a while. But I think my favorite one of that joke is
it was
where
his entire character.
where the SWAT guy drops like a radio. He's like on top of the roof and drops a radio.
See, that's fine,
and then he
but
just like walks up.
if
I really like that.
That joke
I
by
thought that was
itself
good.
would have been
But
good.
if that's the only joke, it would have been fine. The problem is they had done the hearing thing to
a couple of
to
times.
death by the time we got there.
Nice,
right?
nice.
Jokes that I liked were thank you.
Self clap.
Jokes that I really not self clap. Angus's clap.
Brad Pitt, can you keep it down?
Jokes that
No
I
clapping
really
during the podcast.
He's just trying to pat the fire out of his face.
He's been on fire. To be fair, he's been a bit of a soldier, just sitting there on fire this
Sit there
entire
quietly.
time.
He's really putting up with that ulcer. Things that I thought were funny.
The ulcer is the least of his worries.
Yeah.
actually.
Things that I thought were great were like how they've all packed sandwiches in like Ziploc bags, because
Yeah.
that's the sort of thing that I find funny. But just being like, "Do I need to pee 100? I don't care. It's not fun."
Yeah,
It's-
Dumbledore peeing everywhere was kind of weird.
or just jokes that are lazy like that, where it's just, oh, we're gonna put old people in our movie, and every single movie where it's like, oh, the old people are coming back. I
Hello,
know
old
there's
people joke hotline. What can we do
yeah,
for
well,
you?
it's just that. Like, you got movies like The Expendables, they're going in style, or there's another movie called Red that's like an assassin movie, but they're all retired. And every single one of those movies has a joke where my eyes aren't what they used to be, or my hearing's not what it used to be, or I need to get up out of bed to pee every time, or I fall asleep when I'm meant to be keeping an eye out. I'm sick of those jokes, because they're never funny for me, because I've heard them.
It does kind of... It shouldn't really be a joke, because it just kind of makes you laugh at old people getting older.
The things that I find humorous
Yeah.
that I
Like-
think are good jokes are just laughing at, like, you know, it's just the comparison of how the days used to be not to how the days are now. It's not about, oh, they're dying and they can't do the things that they used to. That's sad. It's not sad because I have an emotional connection or anything like that. I just don't find it that funny. It's just not that clever. It's slapstick done badly. I think the clever things are, like them not understanding how the world is happening right now.
Yeah.
And that, to me, can be comedic content. But everything after that was just really boring.
For sure.
Fair enough. What about you, Wangy Poo?
Cut half
Thanks,
of that. but-
Cocklemain. Right. I think my biggest negative is that it was a bit confusing at times, just in storyline and like who was going for who and what was happening, and I
They
think
all had the most generic nicknames ever, and none of them stuck to a personality.
Yeah,
So I lost
yeah.
track. There's a part where they're walking in a junkyard, and I go, I think this person's our weakest link. And this person.
and
And
this,
and I got the joke
I think-
that they listed
I
everybody.
think Brian's our weakest link.
And
And Billy.
Yeah.
And Billy.
and Colin.
And
Okay.
Colin.
Like, I got...
And Tom.
and Tom. Like, I got...
like, wait, aren't one of you, Tom?
Yeah, like, I got the joke that they've clearly listed everybody. But at the same time, as they said the names, I didn't know who they were talking
Yeah.
about.
I think
I
the problem
still
is
don't know
also
who
there that
Charlie
they probably
Cox's
used the real names of the real people.
And they're all...
Yeah.
And like one of them was Brian, one of them was Barry, one of them was Basil. And so it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
so like even you got like 3 B names. It's like,
Just so that when they're forced to give someone up, they only give up one person, no matter how many
Yeah.
names they tell.
So I also didn't like, and I guess it's they probably couldn't have done much about it, but I didn't like that there wasn't like a twist at the end of it, or like normally at the end of heist films you're like, oh, that's how they got away with it. This one's just like, no, they carried out a heist and they mostly went to jail,
One
except
of
for
them
one guy that
lied,
got
yeah.
away.
And he didn't like trick
and that's
everybody.
The story, kind of
he
thing.
just lied, and then when they caught him on lying, he hopped on
Yeah.
the train and went somewhere else.
like it's not really
and
like
then
a
Matthew
good...
Murdoch got away with all of the diamonds.
Yeah.
So touching on that, so Brody just made a reference to the fact that the actor, the youngest actor in this cast, Charlie Cox, was Daredevil in the Netflix TV show Daredevil, which I fucking loved, and then they cancelled it, and I wasn't a fan. And now he's doing this shit, and he was the most boring, least likable, fucking personality vacant character in this whole movie.
I would also like to have seen just like a shot of Charlie Cox's character just at like the airport, just looking at a screen of destinations.
Yeah. And
And
with
it's
like a
because he
Smurf
can
or
go,
something?
yeah, he can go to any one of them and live out the rest of his life with millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But he just like
Like, I get that we
he
don't
just
know
he
what
just
happened.
gets on like he just gets on the tube. You know,
Okay,
it's like such a
so-
like average thing.
So talking about this, there is way too many long drawn out shots of just Michael Caine sitting solemnly on a train or on a bus.
oh
There's
yeah,
about
he gets on a lot of buses.
There's like
yeah.
so he doesn't have a car, and so he uses like public transport to get around. We see it every single time he uses public transport, and it feels like it's not even symbolic. Like, you could argue that it's like, he's sitting on a train and he's watching the world go past, but it's not even that. It's just him sitting quietly on a train, and it happens like 6 times to jazz in the background, as if it's like, part of the heist or something. It's just Michael Caine sitting. It could just be footage from Michael Caine going to the studio to film the movie.
Probably.
It's just Michael Caine sitting on a bus,
So
or on a train, or on a bus.
my main negative for this film is the dialogue.
Yeah.
And in specific, kind of unusual coming from me, I thought there was a lot of swearing. I thought that there was so much swearing in this film. And it doesn't usually bother me, but the dialogue in this film felt really stale, forced, and unrealistic. And I feel like the swearing added to that. Because they swore. And it wasn't even like interesting swearing. It was just like them saying fuck in every single sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, and I don't know what it was about this film. Maybe it's just because there were a bunch of older blokes, but they said fucking every
I
single
think it's
sentence
because they
that
were
they
meant
spoke
to be
with.
realistic characters, and that's the sort of dialogue you'd write to play up a
Yeah,
character's
but
sort of
the
gangster
dialogue
vibe.
felt super stale. There were so many sentences where they were just talking to each other, and they'd like pause and wait for the other person to respond. And,
Yeah. So
and
many
it didn't
quips that-
feel natural.
So many quips, like, I think those pauses were meant for audience laughter. So many quips that just didn't land, and you just
I
wait.
felt like they put in pauses for laughter,
Yeah.
even in just regular sentences.
Regular
though.
sentences.
Either that or they swore so much in this movie because when they were stars way back when, they had so much censorship that they weren't allowed to swear. So now they're just like, oh, thank God, now I can fucking swear.
Well, but
Fuck
even
yeah.
then, Britain's always been way ahead of that, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
you watch stuff from the 90s and stuff.
Like Lock, Stock, and Stew.
Made in
Yeah,
Britain.
that one. Lock, Stock, and Stew, Smoke, and Smells.
Lock, Stock, and Stewie Griffin. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff from the 90s, and they swear a bunch. Britain's always been way further ahead with that sort of stuff.
Censorship was, yeah.
Yeah. Though I think swearing is just like a bigger thing in Britain, and especially with the variety of curse words in Britain, and they didn't really use anything else other than the F word.
The F word, yeah.
They said Barney Rubble.
Yeah.
But they also used a lot of other
Even
rhyming
then,
slang.
that was
that-
just rhyming slang.
They also used a lot of other rhyming slang that I don't know. That isn't as... Like, Barney Rubble, I know quite commonly is trouble.
Yeah.
But they used a lot of other stuff that I don't know. So there's a lot of sentences there. I'm like, I get that it's rhyming slang, but I haven't had enough time between this sentence and his next sentence to
Yeah.
figure out what he's saying.
Okay.
Like, it's just not... It wasn't common enough for me to
I
understand
didn't, yeah, I don't think I didn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah.
I understood within
Yeah.
context, but there's a few sentences, like, I understood within context what he was getting at, but there's a few very specific things he said, and I'm like, clearly he's saying, like, we're fucked. Or clearly he's saying, I'm angry at you. And he's used rhyming slang, and I got from context what he was saying, but I didn't actually understand the word he
Yeah.
was rhyming with.
So when he said the sentence, "I'm pretty bangry right now," John was like, "I
Nah.
get that he's,
I get that he's angry, but
pissed
I'm
off,
not-
but I don't
Yeah,
know what he's
something's
saying."
happening.
Yeah, fair.
A lot of jazz in the background of things when nothing else is happening.
Yeah, dum dum.
So-
Yeah,
But it's just like, it'll be that, and I'll just be like
and
sitting there having
it's
some
Michael
lunch.
Caine getting on a train.
Yeah, it's just that.
Yeah.
There was one, like, there was a good 10 minutes worth of just jazz. And I was like, oh, they're building up to like a montage of them starting a heist or them planning a heist. And it was just like, they'd hop in a car and they'd go to a restaurant and they'd have a chat. And then one of them would go home and go to bed. And then one of them would make himself a
Yeah.
sandwich. And it was just like jazz the whole way through. I'm like, this isn't, like, jazz is used in heist films to accentuate something cool or smooth or like, intense. But this was just, you look so tired.
It felt like the
This was
filmmakers
just-
wanted to make a heist film, but they got the approval to make a film based on the true story of
Yeah,
the heist
drama,
from 2013.
yeah.
But there was just, it's like, what it felt like is they hired a musician to do jazz for them. And the musician went, oh, it's an hour and a half film. I'll make at least an hour worth of jazz. And then that musician went, cool, I can't wait to hear all of my music in your movie. And they're like, fuck, now we've got to put at least an hour of jazz in our movie. Just chuck it in these random scenes.
No, it turns out that Charlie Cox just learned how to play bass in high school. So he's like, Charlie, can you just play something? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's enough. That.
Tell you who I would have...
Get you to keep going.
Tell you who I would have got to direct this movie. I would have got... Who's the guy that did the Cornetto trilogy? The director.
Bloody Edgar Wright.
I would have got Edgar Wright to do this film.
No.
Because I reckon he could have turned a really boring... Because he can take...
I feel like he's too creative.
Yeah.
And to make a film based on a true story...
Yeah.
But I think he
wouldn't
could have found
get
creative
approval for
ways
any of
to
his stuff.
show what was happening. I feel like he could have turned some really boring scenes into something more interesting.
No,
Oh,
but
it
you
was
don't
like-
have to be Edgar Wright to make a
True.
creative
Any
scene.
better director than whoever this was. Who was this? If it's a good director, I'll be very upset.
Cool, so I guess that's all we've got to say for A King of Thieves. Some good, mostly bad.
Mostly bad.
Cane Dogs, what are we reviewing next week?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Back on the Marvel train. This is
Shazam!
why. This is why.
Choo-choo.
No, not Shazam.
Not Shazam?
No, Captain Marvel.
Pretty close though.
Yeah. Shazam!
No, other dude. This is a chick. She's from Marvel. Shazam is DC. It's a whole thing that happened
She's a
with
chicken.
licensing.
Captain Chicken.
Captain Chicken.
Shazam!
Not. This is the only reason I do this podcast, as you know, so I can watch some Marvel movies and talk about them. So I'm very excited. Next week, Captain Marvel. If you haven't seen it yet, it's because it's not out. Once it's out, go see it. Let us know.
And now for a preview of Captain Marvel. Where be me crew? I'm Captain Marvel.
Hey!
Hey, it's Captain America.
Captain America.
Captain Marvel, I be your parrot sitting on your shoulder. My name's Shazam.
Thank you for listening for the Film Slides podcast. You can reach us on Instagram. You can reach us on Twitter. Make sure you tune in next week for Captain Marvel. Let us know on those socials what you think of the movie if you've seen it, or what you think of the movie if you haven't seen it. Either or.
Give us your
Please
predictions.
just contact us somehow.
We're so lonely.
Just say hi.
Okay, bye. Love you.
Hashtag not on Snapchat.
No, you hang up.